I know it's a little warm, but good morning anyway. It's a great day. It's a great day. First of all, I want to thank all of you for being out here. It is a warm day, but it's a great day to say we are celebrating the opening of 13th Street. I'd like to welcome all of you as we officially cut the red ribbon to celebrate the improvements on 13th Street between Hydraulic and Oliver. I'd like to give a special thank you to our District Advisory Board. We have a few of those here. If you'll kind of wave your hands, we have Dan, we have Aaron, I know we have Janet Wilson, Mr. Roseborough. So thank you to the District Advisory Board that is here. You know, 13th Street runs right through the heart of our district. And I know that I speak for all of us when I talk about the benefits and the beauty that this project has brought to Central Wichita. This project involved many neighborhood groups, property owners, businesses, and residents, all with strong beliefs and convictions about their community, their neighborhood, and just what is outside their front door. Thank you, Fairmount. I know you're here, Neighborhood Association. Thank you to Kenmar Neighborhood Association. Also, thank you to Sleepy Hollow. We disrupted your area as well. Thank you to the Central Northeast area. Thank you, A. Price Woodard Neighborhood Association and McAdams Neighborhood Association. And we'd also like to say thank you to WIN, which is Wichita's Independent Neighborhoods. They are the umbrella for all of our neighborhood associations. So thank you to each and every one of you. I'd also like to say thank you for attending to the Black Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Gene Bowen. Thank you also for being here. Senator Letha Faust-Godot, thank you for being here as well. Thank you so much for being here. You know, when the city first went and talked about improving this important corridor, we were greeted with many, many questions and many, many concerns. Businesses, I know you were concerned. Furniture and consignment, we know we held you up for a little bit. I know that Willie Kendrick's Popeyes was held up for a little bit, but now we are able to show this area off. I think today, looking at the fantastic final product and the view for the neighborhood, everyone is so happy. It has created a sense of pride for the 13th Street residents. I want to thank the residents and the neighbors and the business owners in the area for your patience during this project. I hope you are pleased with the results and recognize this great asset every day when you look out your windows and drive through your neighborhood. I know that I can't look at it enough. As you all can see, the significant improvements in this roadway is not only in the concrete and the asphalt, but in the openness of the roadway and the ease of travel for vehicles and pedestrians. No longer will you have to immediately look up because someone is turning left. You now have your own left turn lane. No longer do we have to look at the McDonald fence in various colors of rust because we now have what this community asked for some years ago. They said, we want the country club look. That's what you have. So community input was so important. This project has helped our neighborhood become even more accessible and more attractive. For example, take a look at the beautiful fence behind you, the wrought iron, the pillars. That is something that we will be proud of for the next 100 years. I want to thank everyone involved in this project on behalf of not only District 1, but the city as a whole. I would also like to give a special thank you to Miss Janice Thacker. Miss Janice Thacker said, can I put red ribbons all along 13th Street up until we get to that point? And I said, yes. Janice, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for having that concern. Again, I want to add a personal thank you also to Cornejo and Sons Construction for the amazing, amazing work that they did. I'd like to thank all of you for being here, for being present, because your presence tells me that this was an important project. There's another gentleman that I would love to say thank you to, and I don't see him right now, but I saw him across the street. That gentleman across the street was here almost every single day, watching all improvements, walking up and down 13th with his hands behind him. So the gentleman across the street, Thank you so much for being here. Now, I would like to introduce to you City Engineer Gary Jansen, who I stayed on every single day to make sure we were on task. Thank you all for being here. Okay, Gary, we have a request to make Lavon Street Lavonta. I'll take that.
Thank you, Councilmember Williams. To start off, I just want to say I've personally been involved with this project back from when we started, which was in late 2005. We had actually looked at doing something even prior to that, 10, 12 years ago, but didn't have the funding. When we finally decided to get things going, Mayor Brewer was the District 1 council member at the time, and he's the one that really helped us push and get this going. And before I discuss any more, I want to introduce the mayor and have him say a few words.
Well, certainly today's an exciting day, and I will tell you that the staff told me, Mayor, 30 seconds, okay? Really, 30 seconds. Thanks, Van. But certainly we want to thank each and every one of you. You know, and 13th Street, you know, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of community involvement. It was put in place to be able to come with this. So this is very exciting. I mean, you don't just come from the west side of town or the far east side of town, and then you run into this small area again, and you're wondering, well, why is it so different in these particular areas? And certainly, you know, you have to give a lot of appreciation to Councilwoman Williams for the outstanding job that she did in leading that effort and ensuring that once we had the funding in place, that she made sure that we continued on. This has been a project that staff and a lot of community people, park board, everyone has worked on. So we thank you so very much. We also couldn't have done it without our various different state legislators that live in this community and that was here supporting it. And I want to make sure that we recognize them. We have Senator Olitha Fausto, who's also with us today. And we also have Melody McCrae Miller, who is also with us today. And she was one of them. She was a state legislator during that time frame. And do we have any other elected officials out here? Do we have any park board people that are out here? Because you guys had to prove it and do a lot of negotiation. Trust me, you have no idea how much negotiation they did. And probably even more so, you know, I know Lavonta, I recognize her for the outstanding job she did. But in all honesty, now all of you know, all that know me, all that know Lavonta, she could not have did it and made it there without Billy Williams, who's standing over there in the background as always. Thank you, Billy. So with that being said, again, thank you. Today's an exciting day, certainly a celebration from the storm last night to beautiful sunshine this morning. You know, this gives us certainly sheds a lot of light and a lot of sunshine on something that gives us an opportunity to be able to celebrate about. So with that being said, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to keep my comments brief. I know it's continuing to heat up. As I mentioned, we started way back in 2005. Over the course of the next couple of years, we had over a dozen formal meetings with neighborhood groups, business owners, people with interest in the area, and we also went to District Advisory Board, we went to council member breakfasts, meetings. It seemed like that's all we did was meetings for several years, but it helped us formulate a plan based on everyone's input of what we wanted to do here. What came out of that was the concepts that you see on these boards. That's where we started. And I think we did a lot to meet the desires of everybody that uses this every day. We expanded to 5 lanes, as Councilmember Williams mentioned. Got a free left turn movement now. It helps with traffic. There's approximately 15,000 vehicles a day that use this corridor. It makes traveling a lot safer for vehicles and for pedestrians both. We heard from people that they wanted to open things up, which meant there was going to be a big impact on right-of-way. We took that seriously. We spent a lot of time and were thoughtful about how we dealt with that and tried to have the least amount of impact. But you can see what we've done to help with pedestrian access too, which I think is really a big deal these days. And as I mentioned, we spent considerable time looking at right-of-way considerations. These improvements are going to last long into the future and handle traffic increases well beyond what any of us will use it. Construction started in August of 2012, was just completed not long ago. Significant amount of work that goes into rebuilding 2 miles of arterial street. Within the project, when we got done, we had a final project cost of just over $17 million, which included right-of-way acquisitions, design, and construction. Within that was 3 miles of storm sewer, new storm sewer to help with drainage, 60,000 square yards of new asphalt to construct the 5-lane roadway, and 120,000 square feet of sidewalk with 117 wheelchair ramps, which provide for that pedestrian accessibility. Getting a project done like this big in particular, doesn't just happen overnight, and it happens because of the efforts of a lot of people. And I've got a lot of people I want to thank. I'll try to go through this list quickly. And if you're here, I'd like for you to be acknowledged, and then we'll give everybody a round of applause at the end. I want to thank the Mayor and Council and the City Council first for their support of the project, providing the funding that was needed. In particular, I want to thank Councilmember Williams. We spent a lot of time together over the last 5 years or more, and without her guidance and her vision and her drive to keep this going, I can promise you it wouldn't have happened. And so without her, I know we definitely wouldn't be here today. Our design consultant, Poe & Associates, Jim Hubert and Mike Thompson are here. These guys did a lot of hard work for us, really stuck through it over a long period of time to help us get to where we are today. I mentioned right-of-way is something that happens behind the scenes, became a huge part of this project. We've got a great staff. John Philbrick is our real estate director. Jerry Ford works for him. Leslie Hicks works for me, dealing with right-of-way on the engineering side. Those three together did so much work to make sure that this could happen, and we thank them for all that they did. Construction oversight from our office, Steve Degenhardt is our construction division manager. We also had several project engineers in Greg Ballman and James Wagner. Where is James at? James is back here. James is the guy that kept this project going for us every day. There's obviously a lot of challenges on 2 miles of road work, and he did a great job of making sure everything got done right, taking care of issues as they came along. We also had several project inspectors, Tim Anthus, Mike Tom, and Mike Foster. I don't think Mike Foster's here today. These guys are eyes and ears on the project every day. Dealt with a lot of the property owners, and are really the guys to ensure that we get what we want when we're done with everything. And then also Jason Fuchs, our survey crew. These are the guys that nobody ever sees, but they're the ones that make sure it absolutely gets done right, because if they miss it, it's probably not going to get caught. But Jason, thank you and you guys for everything that you did. We spent a lot of time working with the park department and the park board in particular, because we needed to use some of the land off of McDonald Park to make this fence work, to make the right-of-way work, to make the new road work. So I thank the park board. I don't know if anybody, I know the mayor asked, or Councilmember Williams asked if anybody from the park board is here. Park department, several representatives. If you're here, you might. David McGuire's here. Thank you for working with us, and this really helped make it a lot better project. Contractor Corneo & Sons, Tyler Stevenson is here representing Corneo & Sons. I also see Earl Chandler here, and he was the guy that got a lot of this built. We had numerous subcontractors on the job too, and Corneo did a great job. Last but not least, I also want to thank the property owners, the business owners, the neighborhood associations, everybody we worked with throughout the course of this project, even the traveling public, for bearing with us for several years as we went through a lot of different stages of construction and kind of making life difficult. So we certainly thank you, and we're glad to be here. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jay Story with Furniture on Consignment, and then we've got one more speaker after that. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for inviting me to come here and speak. I know that Levanta said that she wasn't going to let me up. I had no choice but to come here and speak. But anyway, 25 years ago, I started a company called Furniture on Consignment down on 2nd and Cleveland, and basically had a forced move to come over here to 13th and Terrace because of a relocation deal. I won't go into that story, but we came over and converted an old Sky Bowl bowling alley on the corner of 13th and Terrace that was basically a building that was ready to be demolished. I only had a couple employees at that time, but today, and I'll just get right to it, when they first came to us and said, we're going to do construction, we're going to widen the street. The first thing we were extremely excited, but we also realized with every improvement comes sacrifice, and we knew that we were up for a sacrifice. And when they said it was going to take 2 years, I had to pray a lot, because 2 years worth of disruption in front of a business that needs day-to-day business is a long time. But Councilmember Williams and her willing to spearhead and come in, and they did come in and communicate with us quite extensively on the project, not only before it started, but during the whole construction phase. So I want to compliment also Cornejo. Don Linger had a huge part in it. Tim Anthus with the city, I've known him for longer than 25 years, and so I felt like, okay, I knew some people that were involved, so I was going to be able to, to get that communication out. But anyway, we're a family in this neighborhood, and we've been here for 25 years. I hope to be here for the next 50 years if Lord allows me to be here. But we started, like I said, with a few employees up there, and now we have over 100 employees that work in this facility, and we're continuing to expand and grow. But I feel like the Kenmar, not only with this road construction, the expansion, but also the revitalization of the Kenmar Shopping Center, they were very integral in getting that done as well. I can't be anything but thankful. I look out here, and it's just been a blessing, a favor of the Lord that this has happened. So thank you for bringing that to us. Thank you for pushing through, and we're enjoying the fruits. So.
Thank you, Jay. One last speaker, community activist James Arbertha. We'd like to have him say a couple words if he wouldn't mind.
I want to talk a little bit about what this beautiful street did for the, can you hear me? What this beautiful street did for this community from Hydraulic to Oliver. Now, some of you may not know. You see those 5-foot sidewalks? We didn't have that. They might have been, what, 3 foot, Gary? 2 foot or whatever. You see the utility poles? They used to be in the middle of the sidewalk. If you walked up 13th, you either had to get in the street or walk on somebody's property to use the sidewalk. That's in the past now. I am so proud of what you've done here. I will get on 13th Street when I don't need to be. So I want to say on behalf of the community and the Save a Lot grocery store, thank you, and thank you.
Thank you, James. I want to thank everybody for coming out again. Last thing is we're going to do the ribbon cutting. Anybody who's got a pair of scissors, you need to be front and center, and we'll give the media time to move. Thank you again for coming out today.
13th